Welcome to Discovering. Tonight, Cody Cass takes us squirrel hunting.
Earlier this fall, I took advantage of the nice weather we had and went after some squirrels. They're right up there as one of my favorite animals to hunt. I'll go over some tips on how to hunt squirrels and also my favorite way to cook them.
Plus, it's pretty much winter now here in the UP, so I have my list of favorite winter outdoor activities. So sit back and relax. It's Monday night and it's time for Discovering.
The secret streams that flow beneath the cliffs of colored stone. Forest thick and healthy with birch and pine and oak. Surrounded by the greatest lakes this world has ever known. The black bear's awesome presence as he roams the hills and fields. Call of the timber wolf, the loon's lonesome trill. The eagle soaring high above, the trout lies deep and still. These are what I treasure, the only way I measure feelings that I have for this fine land. There is so much to discover when you're a long-time lover of northern Michigan.
And one thing I'm doing here, I'm walking on top of this ridgeline between two valleys, which usually is not a good thing to do, but what I'm trying to do is just scout out for squirrels. See, you know, even if I bump them and they run down a little bit either side, at least I know there's squirrels in the area. I'm doing a little bit more of a barbaric approach right now. And then before I get up over here, actually I'll sit up on the stump real quick. Actually, I don't do this very often. I don't do it very often, I should say, but I do always carry this is a squirrel call. Let me set my rifle down here for a second. So this is a squirrel call. It looks like a big turkey gobbler call. These are actually pretty fun to use, and they all kind of vary a little bit. This is probably the easiest style to use. They have some like reed style ones too. We have three basic calls. So you have the chatter call. I keep my hand cupped a little bit to make it a little bit more of a raspy sound. That's what squirrels do that style a lot too. They communicate like there's anything alarming going on. I'll go over that in a little bit. But a lot of times you can get different squirrels talking. And then something else that squirrels do, you hear them bark a lot, like gray squirrels will bark. So to do that, you just push on these calls. You can kind of mix you know, whatever cadence that you're hearing the squirrels doing. That barking, that's a gray squirrel. A lot of times they'll be either up on a vantage point, usually it's a tree, but it could be a stump, whatever, and they see something, or they're getting territorial, they're barking at a red squirrel, another gray squirrel, whatever it is. But a lot of times that's an attention getter. They all look like, huh? And then you hear like some rustling and they'll jump up into like a branch, like a little crevice of a tree on a branch. And then you can pick them off from there.
One of the most challenging parts of squirrel hunting is patience. You always see squirrels, but rarely will they ever give themselves up for an easy shot. And that pretty much sums up this part of the hunt. But by the time I get the sights on them, they're already gone.
Yeah, there's some feeding. Yeah, right up here too. Yeah, like this is something I look for. You have a little bit of acorn husk. You have, I don't know, it looks like you just ditched that acorn, but and also something too. These maple seeds, that's something that you see a lot of gray squirrels who eat those. So, I mean, acorns, of course, are best bang for your buck nutrient-wise, I'd imagine, for a squirrel. But there are a lot of maple trees through here, and that's a lot of times I'll see them up in the tree eating those seeds before they even fall. That's good. That's good to see so far, though.
At this point, I found myself needing to change my tactics. Whatever I thought was going to work, didn't. I need to make a change, fast, and time is not on my side. Like anything, adaptability is key to success. I tried sitting and waiting in hopes my luck would soon change.
So this area here, it was recently logged, I think a couple years ago or so, by the DNR or DNR contractor or whatever. So these are a lot of areas I like to look for. If you get some mature hardwoods, gray squirrels, they prefer these open areas. Now this area, maybe in a couple years, once the undergrowth starts growing up, they might shy away from areas like this. But this is somewhere I've scouted out. I've seen a few squirrels over here, so I'm pretty confident that we're gonna see some today. And good thing right now too is it's really dry right now, and with these leaves falling, a lot of times I hear them before I even see them. Like I'll hear them. Like I heard one bouncing around over there. I'm trying to see if I can find them with the binoculars, see which way they're going. Especially with these hills, I can kind of sneak over a little bit, but I will say it can be pretty difficult to sneak up on a gray squirrel. Red squirrels, they're just going to jump up in a tree and yell at you until you either shoot it or you keep walking or whatever. But yeah, I think I see him again right there. Yeah, well, perfect. There's this little ridge line that's right here. I'll be able to hide. I might have to go around this side a little bit. I'll get up on that hill that's over there off camera. Hopefully I can get a decent shot at them over there. Yeah, these things move quick too. They never move fast. It's just fluid, and they just get from point A to point B so fast without running. It's part of what I like about it. It's actually it can be a pretty challenging hunt. It's not like you get tags. It's a deer tag and you're done. You can go out every day if you wanted to and do this. But I'm not trying to go home empty-handed. It's somewhere over there. I can hear it, but I'm in a pretty good position right now. I might just stand here. That's actually a pretty nice one over there. Situations like this is where it's nice to have a second person. You kind of stand at 90-degree angles. Either one person scares the squirrel across the tree, or they get the shot on it. Up there. There's two of them. There's two on the same tree. Got him. All right, there's another one that just came down the tree. Well, the surprise game's gone, so I'm gonna head over there. All right. I'll probably get right up on this little hilltop here and hope for the best. A lot of times I just let that other squirrel sit there and then just wait, but there's a little hill that was between us, so I can't see anything on the backside. So up here, I'm hoping I can get a better shot. Yeah, he's right there. That's a thick one too. Yeah, that's a nice one. Yeah, that's a big boy. That's a nice one. Good shot placement too. You don't think they're very big until you got them in your hand. I did all the skinning and quartering and stuff like that. So Here I just have them in the quarters, front legs, back legs, and then I have their torsos here, have like the back straps and all. There's a bunch, actually quite a bit of meat on the torsos as well. So real simple. I got a pressure cooker here. Kind of what the point of doing this is that squirrel meat can be a little bit tough, especially if you cook it like really fast, like frying like I'm going to be doing today. So I'll tender them up with the pressure cooker for about a half hour. If you don't have a pressure cooker, you could use a slow cooker for like 2-3 hours to imitate the same thing. But pressure cooker is a lot faster and it's a lot more consistent. So all I got, I just got a half cup of water here. That'll just give me enough water to steam. I'm not looking to cook them in liquid. And I mean, whatever, basically however you cook rabbit, the same way that you cook squirrel. It's very similar tasting, other than squirrel is a little bit more mild. It's not as gamey. So just for this, I'll just hit it with a little bit of salt. Then I also hit them with a little bit of black pepper too. You can season these however you want. I don't like to take away too much of the squirrel meat flavor, so I'll just do this. For inside the pressure cooker, I just have a little basket like this. It has little legs that'll sit on the bottom just so the meat's not sitting in the water. And once the pressure cooker starts building up heat and pressure, a lot of that liquid is going to basically just be water vapor in there. So yeah, really from here I'll just put my water in. As long as the bottom is covered up, that should be enough to make some steam in there. That's all we're looking to do. Then a lot of times I'll put the torsos kind of on the side. I'm not saying they're not quality meat, but I like to use those as kind of braces for the legs, because the legs is where most of your meat is going to be. I get the pressure. You just use the meat function. I usually do 35 minutes. I don't know, 30 minutes could probably work, but I tried it the first time at 35 minutes and it worked for me, so I don't like to mess with that. Now the thing's gonna beep until it builds up pressure. So I'll come back in about a half hour. I'll pull those out and I'll get my all my fry concoction all set up. But in the meantime, we'll throw this grouse in here. This should be done by the time, well, this will be done by the time those squirrels are done too. Hey, be careful, I shot this one with the shotgun. And accidentally grabbed a 7.5 shot too, so that's about the size of some of these peppercorns. There we go. When that's releasing pressure, I'm gonna get the mix all together. So for this amount of squirrels, I'll probably use 2 eggs. Could get away with 1, but I'd rather be safe than sorry.
From here, you can coat them and season them however you like. Most recipes for chicken legs or fish fillets do just fine here.
Alright, now I'm going to let this cool for a little bit. That way it doesn't feel like sometimes when you put hot meat with the eggs, I don't want to have scrambled eggs with my meat. Ooh, that's pretty bold. It's actually quite hot. Alright, let's transfer that over to my cooling rack. And now my oil is pretty well heated up. Just a simple little bath. An egg, the flour, then in the pan. And you can do this with a little bit higher heat, just because they are already cooked. And that's why I like to use peanut oil too. It's a little bit better for high heat.
The key thing to remember is that they're already fully cooked, so turning the temperature up a little bit and just making sure you get that nice crispy skin on there, then you can pull them out. It only takes about a couple minutes.
Well, it's pretty much winter now in the UP, and we have about 4 more months of snow and freezing temps in the forecast. And that means we're transitioning into a new set of outdoor activities. Over the years, Yoopers have come to embrace winter more and more, and there are plenty of things to do here in the winter for anyone. The cold air is also really good for you, so bundle up and get outdoors. With millions of acres of public land, forests, lakes, trails, there are plenty of things to do here in the winter that don't cost much money at all. My personal favorite winter activity is snowshoeing, as snowshoeing to our beautiful waterfalls is icing on the cake. You are sure to find a beat-down snowshoe trail to all the popular waterfalls. Depending on the temps and the time of winter, some are frozen over and some, surprisingly, are not. Tequamanon Falls State Park, north of Newberry, is a popular place in the winter, and the upper and lower falls are easily accessible and you don't even need snowshoes. Bond Falls on the west end of the UP is also very easily accessible by foot, but sometimes the trail can be icy, so be careful. North of Bond Falls is Okundikun Falls, which is a little more of a hike at almost 3 miles out and back on snowshoe, but worth it. Instead of snowshoeing during the day, try it at night, during one of the lantern-lit snowshoe and ski trail evenings hosted by our state parks. The Porcupine Mountains, Tequamanon Falls, Van Riper, Fayette, and more all host lantern-lit trails during the winter.
These old-fashioned kerosene lanterns don't light up the whole trail, they just kind of light up stretches of the trail, and that's pretty magical.
Later in the winter, hike out to the Eben Ice Caves in the Hiawatha National Forest, or the ice formations along Sandpoint Road in Munising. This is where they host those ice climbing events during Michigan Ice Fest. I highly recommend ice cleats or yak tracks for either of these. The hike out to the Eben Ice Caves is about a mile with some steep ups and downs. A favorite Yooper winter pastime is ice fishing. There is a pile of ice fishing tournaments throughout the season to prove it. Do I even have to say ice fishing is on my favorite winter activity list? We are fortunate with an abundance of lakes large and small from the east to the west end of the UP, and a variety of species to catch through the ice. Bluegill, perch, walleye, northern pike, trout, whitefish, and even smelt. I hear lakes are already frozen over and people are out fishing. Hire a guide if you don't have the experience or equipment.
Most of my clients, they hire a guide because either they've never fished before or don't know how to ice fish. So a lot of it is just like teaching them how to use a Vexlar, teaching them how to drill holes through the ice, that kind of stuff.
And you really don't need all the newest gadgets. A simple setup and warm boots and clothes are all you really need. And remember, no ice is safe ice. If you've never seen a sled dog race, check one out this winter. The UP 200 in Marquette is the biggest multi-day race, followed by the Copper Dog in the Keweenaw, and now this year the Tequamanon Country Sled Dog Race north of Newberry is also a 2-day race. And the three have partnered up this year to create the Superior Crown Sled Dog Series, so it sounds like an exciting season of racing coming up. And if you have ever wanted to know what it's like to drive your own dog sled team or just ride in the sled behind a team of dogs, many kennels in the UP offer rides and experiences to learn all about mushing.
This is called your bar brake, and how you use it is it just gets dug straight into the snow. You want to get it in as far as you can. The farther in it is, the easier it is to stop.
Cross-country skiing is another popular winter activity, and there are trails galore from Sault Ste. Marie to Marquette to Hancock to Ironwood. For those more adventurous, give winter camping a try. Rent a hot tent like I did last year.
Everybody who's stayed, it's been like in single digits or maybe even below zero. That's just kind of how this winter's worked out, and everybody's been doing okay, staying warm.
Or stay in a cabin or yurt at one of our state parks that are open during the winter.
The last 10 years have really picked up for winter camping. I think, between word getting out and then better gear and stuff available for people to use.
Or do your own DIY setup, and there are plenty of videos on YouTube to learn how to do that, including some old Discovering episodes. And of course, there are so many other outdoor winter activities that I didn't go in depth on, like downhill skiing, snowmobiling, fat biking, sledding, ice skating. The list goes on. So bundle up and enjoy your favorite or try something new this winter. That's all for tonight, and I hope to see you right back here next week for Upper Michigan's very own Discovering.